question is the House to now adjourn and give the call to the member for Dawson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise today to provide a brief of the major flooding events that's been happening in the north of Australia at this present point in time. We are now in the recovery phase, although I'm asking everybody to please still be careful because there is some more rain forecast, be it for the next day or so. But I would like to say a big special mention to the disaster management teams, the local disaster management groups of Mackay, Whitsunday, Burdekin and Townsville, who have kept our people safe and kept the whole event organised. Also like a big shout out for the first responders, the police, fire and ambulance. The job they've been doing is second to none. And our SCS workers, well done to those guys and girls. And last but not least, the community. The community is bound together. It's what we do in North Queensland. We look after our mates. We get together. We make sure that our elderly are okay. We make sure our neighbours are okay. We make sure that everyone around the whole area is okay. So well done to the community. In my electorate, Mr Speaker, I'm very fortunate to say that we had no loss of life. Unfortunately, a little bit further north, there was fatalities. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families in this very difficult time. After we could start to move around, I started to travel to the smaller towns. So my first stop was to Gumloo, and I caught up with the kids at the Gumloo school, some of the parents and the teachers, also some farmers, and just to see how they fared. Unfortunately, some of the farms are not going so well. And then I was off to Guru, and Guru, there was quite a bit of floodwater went through houses there, businesses. I met Zoe, who was pocket rocket actually. She's a black belt in karate, but she was mopping out all of her hairdressing salon. So hope you get back up and running as soon as you can, Zoe. There's a car collector there, and he had a lot of cars go under. The post office, the corner store, all had water through it. So that wasn't very good at all, but they're a very resilient community at Guru and got straight back on with the job. At Kungalla, they had water in houses and everything as well, and some of their community assets as well. Nome, the little community of Nome, had a lot of fences and a lot of outdoor areas breached. Mr Speaker, one of my major concerns is the sewerage within the area, particularly around the septic and those sort of things that's now floating around the yards. Please be careful. And also damage the farms. We need to make sure that we keep an eye on that. Mr Speaker, what this event has highlighted is the poor state of the Bruce Highway. In my electorate alone, the highway was blocked at Gaganga Plains. Now, the previous coalition government provided $10 million to go towards working the plan out to fix that. Unfortunately, the state Labor government sat on that, so nothing happened. It was blocked there. A T-section at Bruce Highway in Hamilton Plains was blocked. Myrtle Creek was blocked. Albert's Road, or Peters Flats, as the locals call it, was blocked. Wangaratta Creek was blocked. Plantation Creek was blocked, and it's still actually blocked today. Thankfully, there's some heavy vehicles being allowed through. The Barattas was blocked, and at Alligator Creek it was blocked. And this, Mr Speaker, is simply not good enough. This is how we get our supplies up from the city, it's how we get our produce to market, and it's how our families get around and how they get around safely. And to have all these blockages is just not acceptable. And it just goes to show that the Back Our Bruce campaign, of which I've been running and been supported by all my federal compadres up and down the Bruce Highway, is certainly warranted. And what I'm extremely concerned about is the amount of potholes that are available. There is just a Congo line of potholes, and if you could work out a way of putting a roof over those potholes, we could actually save some of this Labor-created housing crisis that we're experiencing at the present point in time. The other thing I'm worried about is the potholes. People are swerving and then potentially running into incoming traffic. So we desperately need some of the $7.2 billion announced by this government, and thank you, Mr Albanese, for that. It has been matched by the opposition, but it's very, very important this money doesn't get spent all down in the southeast corner. It needs to come into my electorate of Dawson and do some good where it is needed the most.
Authorised by Andrew Wilcox, LNP Mackay.